if you're running a team or a company or an organization and you want the possibility of wild success, one thing to spend some time and or money on is developing your values, understanding what they are, and then embodying and implementing those values. Now, lots of companies will say, we've got our values, they're on the wall, they're written on the wall, they're written on our OLO documents, we're trust, we're integrity, we're this, and no one lives it, no one cares, no one knows what they are. If I ask 5 people in the company, what are the values of this company, they wouldn't even know where to find them, let alone repeat them. And I think when you're at an organization that actually has values, who has actually established them and say, this is what we stand for, this is what we believe in, this is what we live up to, you know it. You can see it, you're in it, your heart, your soul, your everything is in it. And the ones that make it all the way, usually, almost always, have values. They've made some decisions to say, this is what we care about more than other things. Now, there's some international examples which are not good for the average person, but just a couple to think about. Amazon started from nothing, from a little room. We've all seen the Bezos picture with the thing on the wall. And they are about, in my opinion, obsession with customer outcome. Like nothing else matters to him, and therefore permeates through the organization, is the obsession with customer outcome. And anyone, that's what they value. They don't care about anything else. They might say they do, but it doesn't seem to me, from what I can see, that they care about anything other than customer outcome. So anyone who joins this organization at this level, this level, this level, this level, they know that's the metric that will be measured on. And if at any point the customer outcome falls, your job is on the line, you're out, you're not part of this organization anymore, and they will not waste any time with you. Other companies, I think Netflix are unapologetically meritocracy. They're like, there's no sort of everyone gets to play. There's like the best rise and everyone else get out of their way. They're about the absolute best and responsibility for your outcomes, and they don't sort of have a cuddle factory when it comes to the pointy end. You've got to be performing. And I think when you join these organizations, you understand what their values are. If you know that going in, then you're going to be magnetized to the companies that have values the same as yours. Now, so they're 2 monster examples, but let's say more locally. You might have a company that's all about giving back, that they grow their business, but they've got 3 or 4 charitable organizations, or one foundation, and I've worked with companies like this, they're unbelievable. They actually care about giving back more than anything else. Yeah, they like making money, but the reason they make money is so they can give back, because something has driven them from when they were young or when they were growing up or whatever their circumstance, their origin story. And so they're going out doing what they're doing, and they're driven by the value of giving back. Now, when you come up to an organization like that who are doing excellent work and they give back, if that matters to you as a staff member or as a potential partner, supplier, customer, everyone is going to gravitate in that area that matters to them. If you're very good at communicating it and you're living it, they can't wait to get in the door and deal with you. So those values, this is what we value, this is what matters to us. By the way, if there's an organization over here that all they care about is making money, maybe they don't go out and say that to the market, but everybody knows that's what they live and breathe inside those walls. They don't care about your feelings, they don't care about equality, they care about money. And so if you go and work there, you know that they'll package it as we're going to get elite outcomes from our clients, but everybody knows they value money. And you can see inside from their behaviors that the things that make money and the ones that make money are rewarded and encouraged, and anyone else is cut loose. And so that's what I mean by values. I don't mean by the written words on the wall. I mean the behaviors and everything that you actually live, that a customer, a client, a supplier, the market, what people would experience, a staff member would experience in dealing with you. Now, here's what happens if you don't set values. Let's say you go along and you do these things on the wall and you're just like another company, you don't have any, you end up hiring a bunch of people that don't fit because they've all got different value sets. No one is setting any standards or expectations. No one's saying this is what we care about more than other things. And in the absence of those values, factions start to form with their own values. And you end up with 3, 4, 5, 6 factions within your organization. These ones value this, these ones value that, and the business stops being yours. Let me tell you, within just a few years, that business stops being yours. And you can't undo it once you've done it. If you do not set the value expectation from the start, it slowly gets eaten from the inside out. Not a bad thing, by the way, as in, I'm not saying anyone's doing anything wrong, but factions start to form in the absence of values, of people's values. We care about this, we're going to do that. Well, we actually care about this, so our team's going to do that, and we're going to do this. And we don't like the way they talk to us. And eventually you get eaten from the inside out, when in fact, if you had set a North Star value, this is what we care about, this is what we're here for as an organization, these are the behaviors that we value, this is how we treat each other, this is what we're focused on, you can start to filter out those that are not going to fit, and everyone gets in line because they're committed to the same thing. So people will say values, they'll say write it on the wall, let's do a session, everyone gets a say, which is fine. But then when you filter it down to be ruthless, this is where spending some time and money on and saying, what do we actually care about above other things? Not what we feel like we should care about, not what the market or the marketing team or the comms team is saying we should, but you need to include, remember those. No. What do we actually value? Doesn't have to be bad. It can be very, very good, but it's pointless if you don't actually value it. It is pointless if you're doing it just to pretend, because it's going to go on the wall and no one's going to live it, and you're going to end up with the same problem. If you get this right, we value excellence from everybody at all times. Let's say, sounds very vague, but then we say, okay, what does that mean? How do we live that? We live that by saying we set very high expectations, very high responsibilities, very high accountabilities. You come here and do well, you're going to get paid very well. But we value excellence, so you better be excellent. If you want to come here, if you want to work here, if you want to be a part of this company, we value excellence. We're not here for, if you want to be mediocre, you can be, that's fine. You can go be mediocre somewhere else. If you want to come here, this is what we value. And then you go about rewarding that behavior and disincentivizing or removing those that don't fit. Once you set those, it feels like, but we're going to lose these people, or it's going to be hard. Yes, you're going to lose those people, and yes, it's going to be hard. But guess what? Within 3 years, you've got a business, the people who you value actually want to work for, and the customers that you value actually want to work with, and the suppliers, and everyone in the orbit is going to start to gravitate to a company when they know what they're about. You feel like you're cutting out a bunch of a market, you are, but you eventually will get eaten from the inside out if you don't. So this is worth doing. Spend some time, spend some money on setting up your values. You're going to need someone probably external to help you to cut through the internal bureaucracy to get to the heart of it. Because if you can do this, I'm not kidding, if you can do this, look at the companies that have done it. They nail it. You might not like it, but they're doing very well. So values very important. If you don't do it in the absence of it, values will form and you will not like them. Hopefully, this is very helpful.